Hey, my name is Yolanda, and welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. Tune in each week as I speak frankly about life experiences from my perspective and offer you a bit of unsolicited advice. Let's take a little time to laugh, to think, and to cry as we tackle some serious topics and some not so serious topics. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. My name is Yolanda. Thank you for tuning into my show for another week and joining me for another episode. How am I doing? I am hot. Now, why am I hot? So my AC unit is out. Now, mind you, it's not even a year old, like brand spanking new. Matter of fact, it's bigger than the unit we were supposed to get for the square footage of the home. And when I tell you the thing be pumping, it pumps. Like it goes extremely hard and it's loud. And because it's bigger than the house, like for the house size, you can hear it. So we always have to turn our TVs up like super loud just to be able to hear it because it blows so hard. So we noticed immediately when something was off. So it was blowing, but it was no power to it, right? It was like if you turn your car on to like number 1, right? But it normally goes at a 5. So it was really noticeable, like, okay, it's blowing, but barely. So we called the guy that we got the AC unit from, or the company, and they said they would come check it out. And they came today and turned the AC unit off completely, like powered it off, because they said, oh, it's frozen. It has to thaw so that we can see if it needs Freon or whatever the hell, right? When I tell you it's hot in this mother, it is hot. So I ain't gonna be here long because I got this headphones on. I'm in this tiny ass room because this is the smallest bedroom in the house that I record from. It is hot. I can't even run the ceiling fan in this room because it's broken. My grandbaby or my son, I don't remember who broke it, but the ceiling fan is broken in here and I never replaced it because why? The air and the heat be pumping because again, it's huge. So it's always either too hot or too cold in here. I mean, it's always, yeah. So, but it's hot. And I'm anemic. I've never complained about being hot before because I'm normally not. But I'm hot. So anyway, yeah. What else is going on with me? It's the end of the year. It's the end of the school year. I am getting ready for graduation. I'm excited about the kids leaving the building. Let me say that. I'm excited about the kids leaving the building. It's noisy when they're there. It's a lot of work to do that we have to do to wrap up for the end of the school year. And you kind of can't do it at the last couple of days because the teachers have finalized their grades at this point. So the kids are watching movies, having these parties, and they have every excuse to get out of the classroom. And then now they want to come ask me stuff like, what does my schedule look like for next year? And I have rising seniors, so I want to know about some scholarships. How can I apply to college? And I don't mean to mock them because they're legitimate questions, but not now, okay? Should have asked me that like 2 months ago or came to the junior class meeting that I had to tell you and your parents how that process is going to go. Either way, yes, I'm super nice, so I try not to be like, no, go, bye. But I have to be able to protect my time, and that's the only way you're going to get work done unless you come home with work. It's graduation. I'm the name caller, so I'm preparing for that. And I forgot to bring my paper home, so I'll bring it home tomorrow. I'll be standing up, yelling out names, trying to practice to make sure I don't pass out saying 200 names because, yeah, it'd be hot in that place too. And, oh my. Anyway, let's get straight into street talk.
Yeah, look, what's going on? Let me know.
So Trump was suing the IRS. I don't know if you guys saw that. I hadn't had an opportunity to read it to see like what's deep. I talked to my husband about it this morning when we woke up, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of like him suing himself. And I'm like, yeah, but what is this all about? So if you haven't heard, you need to find that article and read it because I need to do the same. But when I looked at the last like headline, literally, because I have not read the detail, it said that he pretty much settled with them and that the IRS or the government could not be nosy into him and his family's business anymore as far as their taxes. So I don't know what that means. And I'm assuming it's as far as their taxes because we're talking money here when we're talking IRS. But when I tell you Donald Trump scammed all our asses, and not me, let me not say that, y'all asses who voted for him, he is the biggest con man. And I've always sniffed him to be a con man. I would usually call him a used car salesman. That's what he gives. But he sure did con y'all, only for his own personal gain. I mean, everything that he's been doing and the moves that he's been making is all for self or family. He's looking out for his own best interest, his homeboys' own best interest. And if you can't see that, then you're gullible. And that's okay. We have those people in the world. It's the people who always fall for the Ponzi schemes. It's the people that always get scammed out of those, it's Ponzi. It's the people who get old, and no offense to old people. This is not a dig at old people, but those are the people who fall for the people that call them on the phone and say, hey, this is a light bill company. You need to pay me right now. I'm going to cut it off. And then they're like, oh my God, they called me. They're going to cut my light off if I don't pay them right now. Get my credit card, forgetting that it's on auto pay and they pay it all automatically. So why are these people calling me saying that there was an error? Or you know what, I'll just go by there tomorrow, or let me call myself the next day just to confirm, because I don't know, they ain't never called me before. Like, people out there do exist, and I think sometimes we fail to realize that. So as we follow these people on social media, and as we're falling for these conspiracy theorists and these hotep type people, and they're coming up with all these things, you got to believe that everybody is not smart. There's some people that are less than smart. There are gullible people. There are people that are just naive. And there are people that will believe anything you put in front of them. And if you're not a logical person and you don't have discernment to be like, this doesn't make sense, hold up, yeah, you could get got. And I didn't know this, but clearly it's half the world that is gullible. The majority, because the majority won, right? And look what we have. So please don't be gullible. Please do your own research. Please don't believe everything you hear. Hell, even if it's from me, if it's from your own people, do your own due diligence to be like, especially if something doesn't sound right. I have a good sense of common sense. I always said that in my mind, because I can always tell when something's just not adding up. I might not know that it's a lie, but what I do know is, well, that don't really quite make sense, because why would, and any time my mind tells me that something doesn't make sense, I automatically know that it's a lie. And that's what you got to do first. You got to trust yourself. Everything starts with trusting yourself. If you trust yourself and you trust your intuition, because ladies, intuition don't just come when your man cheating, okay? You have intuition. Matter of fact, not just women. We all have intuition, men and women. And your intuition is that gut feeling when you're like, something ain't right. And I think that if we lean into that more, I mean, we gonna be winning. You got to lean in. And I always have that, even with certain people. You can watch certain people and you be like, I'm not buying that. Just something about them, right? And I don't know what it is. And it ain't for me to know. All I know is my spirit says, that ain't it, right? So I listen. And that's what I've learned over the years. You have got to listen to yourself. At the end of the day, our body parts, our brain and our heart, and the blood and the oxygen, all that stuff working together for a reason, okay? Not just to keep us alive, but to keep us safe too, to keep us safe from harm. That could be any type of harm, physical, emotional, mental. You got to keep you safe, and you got to pay attention to that, because my God, the streets is, it's a lot going on. Now, I don't know what else is going on, because I haven't really been in the streets like that to know what the street talk is. Like I told you, it's the end of the year. I got business, right? So I've been wrapping that business up. But I'm coming, y'all. I got some moving to do. And I like when I'm free in the summertime, because then I can really, you know what I'm saying, move how I want to move. I can talk like I want to talk. I can give y'all what I really need to give you. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm talking out my mind because I'm hot. Okay. So if I'm sounding a little crazy, you already know why. And what I want to talk about today, this is going to sound real odd. I like cartoon movies, right? And I have literally just now been watching Swapped. Why? Because I wanted to see it, and it had been on the top 10 movie list on Netflix for the longest. I'm like, what is this little cartoon movie about? And they always have the best stories. I call them after school specials. Like when the story it's a moral to the story, and it all plays out like it's a lesson for you to learn. To me, that's how I grew up understanding things. I loved watching movies that had a point to it and that send a message at the end. It's my cup of tea. So my granddaughter was here the other night briefly, and I wanted to watch Goat with her, but she told me she already watched Goat. I didn't know she didn't see Swapped. So I was going to ask her, and I finally asked her, and she was like, no, she hadn't seen it. But I couldn't wait any longer because I realized I'm not going to see her probably till late June. So let me go ahead. And that's when she'll come for the summer. But now I went ahead and watched it, and pretty much the gist of the movie was about trust. And then I'm thinking, you know what? A lot of people have that issue, but how you realize whether or not you have trust issues, sometimes it comes out in other things. People are like, oh, I don't trust people. I never thought of myself as the I don't trust people type of girl. And I've been burned before, but I feel like trust can't just be summed up in how people do it. Well, if you've been burned by the stove, you know not to go to the stove again because you learn your lesson. You know not to trust it because it's hot. And so that's how you learn, like, how to trust people. You've been burned once. Don't get burned again. But I never saw it like that. I saw, if we take the same analogy about the stove, I saw it as, yeah, the stove burned me. But when it comes to people, right? The stove don't look the same. Every person isn't the same. They're either a man or a woman. They're younger, they're old, they're smart, or they're less than smart. Like, everybody comes in all different shapes and sizes. And although a person may have burned me, that doesn't mean that all of these different ones are going to. Now, do I move with caution? Absolutely. But I don't not touch it because I feel like, okay, but does one human touch me before? Because everybody's different. I can visibly see that these are different stoves, right? So I'm not going to just automatically be like, I ain't touching nothing that's, say it's a stove. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really know, right? Because gas stoves don't work the same as electric stoves, and the glass stoves looks different from the rest of the other stoves too. And so I don't know. I gotta see, as the little boy said on TikTok. I gotta see. So I get that when we're hurt, our brain kind of rewires us and we perceive these things as unsafe. And so automatically you're not going to go in there. But why does it feel so difficult for you to end up trusting people? Sometimes, it's trauma, obviously, betrayal, trauma. Something happened. You got betrayed. Okay, I ain't think the stove was on, so I got burned. And so really, how dare you? I thought it was off. Something must be wrong. You done malfunction. What's going on, right? Just the fear of feeling like you got, feeling like, okay, you played me. And how could I fall for that? Like, i.e., our president scamming people in America. How could I be so gullible? Some people got that feeling right now, though, honestly. The MAGA people who voted, and they may not have been MAGA, but it's like the lesser of the two evils. Those people, or fans of Donald Trump who was like, oh, I love The Apprentice. He's a boss. He's a billionaire. He got money. Them people, they feeling really gullible right now. And then you got the glass vase effect. These are the people who their trust is fragile. These are people who don't trust nobody. And sometimes nothing even happen to them. They living in this glass like, they look away because if somebody put a finger on me, I'm a crack. So I'm not going to let nobody touch me because, So you got that. And those are people who just, like I said, they don't trust nobody. So it doesn't even matter who you are. They're just not even getting close to anybody or anything to be able to trust them. But I don't move like that because, like I just stated earlier, I feel like you got to trust yourself first. You got to make sure you trust yourself first. Most of the time we see this in this little story about the Swapped was just that these animals had lived in the valley, but they lived separately. They were all on their own little location on this valley, and they kept to themselves, and no one worked together because they had been got by an animal. And so they felt as though, okay, well, all these other people are dangerous because we can't trust these people. So they stuck to themselves. And then some things happen. I ain't gonna tell the story because maybe y'all like me and y'all like the cartoon movies too. So I ain't gonna tell you. But anyway, they realized that we're better together, right? And it took them having to say, all right, now I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna do it. But you gotta trust yourself first. You gotta believe in that inner intuition to be like, you know what? I'm going to see, because nothing about this feels weird right now. Nothing about it feels weird. Nothing similar to the last time. Although I am scared, that's obvious. You can admit that, like, okay, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I don't even want to do it. But self-trust just means knowing that if the red flag does pop up, then you will walk away. It's like, all right, last time I didn't know that it was going to burn me, but it was glowing, but I just thought like that's just what it does when you turn it on. Not necessarily that's the light that it says is hot. So now I'm going to go ahead and see what's up because I don't see no red flag pop up. I didn't see the red light, so it might be cool. Let me test the water. You get what I'm saying? Or the red flag is I see that light again. Hell no, because I touched it the last time and that's what happened. You understand what I'm saying? So trusting yourself, recognizing the signs from when it happened to you again, and then knowing when to get the fuck out. And that's the same, I always got to bring things back to relationships because I feel like, that's what everybody relates to most is our relationships with people. And it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a platonic relationship. But if you've been burned by a friend and you don't trust getting close to people anymore, you be like, I don't have no friends because people do you dirty. Everybody don't do you dirty. And if you feel like you were done dirty, because I'll tell you a story. My husband and I went to the Goodwill Sunday. He was looking for a shirt for one of his students at his school. They had a 8th grade promotion and the family reached out saying they need some help. So we went there to try to look for clothes for the baby. We were able to find a shirt, but we couldn't find a pair of pants. So we ended up having to go to Walmart. But long story short, I saw an old friend in the Goodwill. And I introduced my husband and, we said hi. How is everybody doing? That kind of thing. Because this young lady grew up with me. So I've known her since I was in high school, probably middle school, but definitely high school. We hung out. And I probably told you guys this story before about the young lady. I've never probably mentioned her name, but she and I used to run together, have fun. And she knew my business, obviously. Sorry, y'all. I got new neighbors and it sounds like somebody's car alarm is going off. So if you hear a horn blowing, I'm shitting, but just know that that's the neighbor's car. Anyway, after we left Goodwill, I was like, hey, you know who that was? And he was like, nah. So I was like, I've told you the story before. Remember the girl I told you ended up calling the 2 guys that I was dealing with on 3-way to tell them that, oh, she's messing with the both of y'all. I felt like you all needed to know. And he was like, shut up. You're better than me because I would never talk to her again. And I'm just like, nigga, I'm married to you. Why the fuck would I give a shit about 2 exes that was so long ago? I don't, and that's my beef with people too. This is a sidebar and another lesson, but why am I upset about something somebody did to me when I had to be like 17, 18 at the time. These were dudes that I am no longer in contact with. I was with one of them for like 7 years and we ended up living together. Y'all hear me talk about the cokehead a lot on this podcast, but I'm not with him. I'm married to you and that life is long gone. So I'm not going to hold grudges with a person about people that I don't even talk to no more. And I don't even care nothing about, you know what I'm saying? In that realm, like, yes, I care if they're okay, but not like, oh my God, these people were the love of my life. No, I'm good on that. So number one, I don't hold grudges. That's number one. I don't care anymore. Now, if this had just happened and it was a month ago that she had done this to me, obviously I'd be like, fuck that bitch. But that's not the case. That was years ago. My son is almost the age I was at that time it happened. So yeah. And my daughter has passed that age 2 times over. Not really, but you pick up what I'm putting down. So I don't care about that. So I still made new friends. I still trust her enough to say what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not telling you all to be like me. I know that I am who I am and no, you can't be anybody else. But what I'm telling you is that I think a lot of times we cause stress and anxiety and we allow things to steal our joy when it doesn't have to. At the end of the day, you got to let go of some things in your past that no longer should have a hold on you. There's no way something that happened to you at 17 with people who you don't even talk to anymore. Because I don't talk to this girl anymore. When I see her, I speak to her. Her children have come through the school that I work. So I've had to deal with her as a parent. And she ended up becoming friends with my aunt. Before she passed away, they were really tight friends. So she would come around my family. I don't have no ill will towards this woman. Yes, I was shitting with her and I wasn't her friend after that. I mean, immediately after that happened, I stopped talking to her. We did not communicate anymore. But again, I don't hate her and I don't feel like, okay, I can never talk to this person again because she did me dirty. Now, would I be friends with her anymore? Probably not. Not because of that, though, believe it or not. We're just not the same people anymore. So where I am in my life, it's not where she is in her life. And we just ain't the same breed of nigga. So we just not the same. I've grown, she's grown, and we grew in opposite ways. You know what I'm saying? So we're just not the same. So that just won't happen. But man, we got to learn to let stuff go. You know what I'm saying? Now, How else do you start to trust people? You got to test the water. Testing the water could be what I just talked about. Hey, how you doing? I spoke. That's testing the water. She spoke back. Everything's cool. All right, well, the chick ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? But if I had said what's up and then she was like, or she looked like she was scared to say what's up back to me because it's like, oh my God, did you remember? Does she remember what I did to her back then? Does she still want to be my friend? Then I might be like, okay, yeah, she's still on that same old, I'm not going to even fool up with her like that because it's not that deep. Yeah, but that's not what happened. I done spoke to her before this time and everything was all good. She didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. So everything was all good. But again, had I brought it up and it started to be weird and I leaned into my intuition and my intuition said, absolutely not, then I won't go on about my business. But you got to be fully vulnerable when it comes to starting to trust people again, and vulnerable with yourself and not really with anybody else. Because I think we think that when it says, okay, I'm gonna test the water, that it's about trusting that person. No, it's about trusting yourself. You have to be able to say, I got this. I got this. And I know that if I move forward with this person, I got good enough sense to know and the peep game to be like, nah, this ain't it, and pull back. Because you already been through it before. Instead of looking at times where you've been burnt and now that you no longer trust anybody, look at it like, oh, I done did this before. I already know what I shouldn't do. I already know when it's time to turn back around. You get what I'm saying? It's like, and we do that in other things. It's like, okay, I've done this before. When we're telling people about an experience we've had, oh, I've never gone on this roller coaster before. Oh, I've been on this roller coaster before. Well, let me tell you right now, because the last time I was on it, I didn't tuck my arms, and you're going to have to tuck your arms. If you don't tuck your arms, they're going to get limp and you're not going to be able to be stable in this ride. Now I'm making up that shit, but y'all pick up what I'm putting down. You do deal with in life, going through things. You do go through life with lived experience, meaning once you've lived something and dealt with it, then you move like that. It's like, okay, I have wisdom because of lived experience, and this wisdom is going to navigate me through the rest of my life. If you did not go through that, and that's why I have this podcast, I feel like I share my knowledge based on my lived experience. So I'm not an expert on anything, but I've lived through it, so I can tell y'all what I experienced. Now, it hopefully helps somebody, right? Or also it's just made for good entertainment, if nothing else, for you to just hear somebody else ramble for once, and then you can put your worries and stress aside. But anyway, and also just accepting the risk. Like at the end of the day, once you done got popped by your mama with a switch one time, you already anticipate what it is. Even though you know it might sting a little bit and she might swing a little too hard, you already accept the risk. I'm gonna cry. It's gonna sting. I might have a little bit of whelps, right? Because I already know I done did this already. So you assess the risk. Okay, well, she tell me to go get it. I'm not going to get them little teeny ones because them sting too bad. The big ones, she can't swing them too hard. So it hurt, but not like the little ones. So I'm going to go get a bigger switch off the tree next time you got to assess the risk. Okay, well, this guy that I'm talking to, I don't really know. He comes across a little like sneaky. He might be seeing other people. So I'm gonna take it slow, right? I just assess the risk. I realized like, yeah, I'm not gonna not talk to him, but we're gonna talk on the phone for a little while before I go see him, or I'm gonna go see him, but we just gonna go out on a date. I'm not gonna go over to his house. I'm not gonna sleep with him. I'm not gonna tell him all my business. I'm not gonna tell him what I like, I don't like. I'm just gonna see where this goes. Go with the flow. Assess the risk, man. You know what I'm saying? Because frankly, the fact of the matter is you can't go through life scary or in the future have regrets about the risk that you didn't take, the chances that you had at opportunities, and the opportunities that you missed because you didn't take the chance. You have to live. You only get to do this thing one time, y'all. One time. Don't let your past experiences stop you from living life and going through these lived experience, because how the hell you gonna tell your children? How the hell are you going to be that person for your grandchildren to be like, let me tell you a story? Because that was what the other moral was. The parents and the grandparents had to tell him, like, let me tell you a story. This is why we stay safe. But you got to have these stories. You got to be the matriarch in your family. You got to be the patriarch, the patriarch Okay, y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's not coming out right, but I think I said it right. Anyway, because that's what life is about. It's the circle of life, right? We have to be able to share these things and help the next person up. And I don't think I was supposed to talk this long because I think my boobs are starting to sweat. And I know that's gross, but that's where we at right now because I'm delusional. It's heat exhaustion and I don't want to be in here. And then my husband come home and be like, girl, what the hell happened to you? So that's my time, y'all. But until next week, I holla. Bye.